I'll tell you, growing up, I had a great family, very loving family, but that suffered tremendously. I think that what's interesting about my story is that it's not exceptional. Mm-hmm. I grew up in a middle-class family. My parents owned a gas station in Venezuela. And we used to make maybe $1,000 to $3,000 a month in the early 2000s. That's pretty good, especially for Venezuela in the early 2000s, before the inflation we've had adjusted. By 2016, when I left, we were making $100 a month. That is the reality we faced. We had cars, I went to a good school. We lived in our own apartment. That was our property. And then we didn't have electricity. And then we didn't have water. And then we had to line up for food. And when we didn't have electricity and we didn't have water, I had to carry up 5 floors, the water jug on my shoulder as a teenager. Good workout. But going from a first world country to a third world country, that is what's so painful, because all other socialist countries were never so rich as Venezuela. Think about the Soviet Union. The Russian Empire was a terrible place to live, the poorest empire in Europe. Think about China before Mao. Even before Mao, China was a desolate, terrible place to live. Think about Cuba. Cuba was maybe the most okay-ish, but still much poorer than Venezuela was. Eastern Europe, ravaged by World War II. I mean, how many pounds did Eastern Europe have before Soviet socialism? Venezuela was a rich and democratic country. And it became poor because of socialism and became authoritarian because of socialism. And that is why the case of Venezuela is so important for all of us in the West, because it is what could happen to us.